Today's episode of Smoke and Mirrors is brought to you by wood. You know the stuff. It's made of trees. You build things with it. Wood. Also brought to you by that rush of cortisol you get right before you stand up to go do something, but then you change your mind and you don't do it, and so you just have that rush in your body. It's brought to you by that. Bow, 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 bow. Boom. A smoke and mirrors, y'all. Boom, bow, bow, boom, 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 boom. It's smoke and mirrors, y'all. Boom, bow, bow, boom, 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 boom. It's smoke and mirrors, y'all. Boom, bow, bow. And now here they are, the venerable and venerable. Oh, I already fucked it up. Carlos Karim Wyndham. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, bow. Hey, y'all. Hey, here a couple of minutes early because today is a thing I'm excited about. This is going to be a not really new look, but a true look. Smoke and Mirrors. We are going to do a little bit of a longer episode today, and so buckle up, get ready. Got a lot of things that have been cracking around the old pee hole, and we'll talk about them. First, yesterday, you may have noticed I was gone. I would love to tell you more about that. Here's the thing, though, I can't. I signed an NDA that involved them putting a chip, an implant in my neck that if I say too much about, they have threatened that they'll actually. Okay, all right, too much already. Anyway, I wasn't here yesterday, and okay, I got it, and I'm back today. This is Smoke and Mirrors. It is 19 after the hour, so what we're gonna do is wait and hang out for a second, do what we're here to do, and then we'll get into the rest of the show. Is a strong word for it. Flying fast and loose with that. Anyway, it is now 20 after the hour here, and so that means wherever you happen to be, it is 4:20 someplace. Let's get into the shit. Oh my God. Oh boy. There we go. Okay. Today's. Oh boy. Do you have a hot baby? I hope you do. Today's today's cannabis is brought to us by our friends at these are our friends at Bloom Dispensary in Portland, Oregon, of course. And this is a flower that goes by the name of powdered donuts. And let me tell you something. I go nuts for donuts, man. All right. I wish I hadn't said that. Let's go ahead and do some plugs. Right off the top, like I said, we have a little bit of a longer thing happening today. Tonight, though, I don't know how funny today is going to be, but tonight, it's going to be so funny. Join me as I take part in Disowned. This is a night of comedy that is put on and going to be sponsored by Kickstand Comedy. You can find them at Kickstand Comedy, twitch.com/Kickstand Comedy. This is going to be hosted by Jenna, my 18-year-old niece who just graduated high school is going to be there and is going to have to listen to me talking about my balls. Tomorrow morning, if you just can't get enough of my voice, you know what you should do? You should listen to this podcast. It's a podcast that I co-host sometimes, and tomorrow is one of those times, and it's one called Myelin and Melanin Podcast, brought to you by my friends Dana and Dawn. This is going to be a party line special. There's going to be a bunch of us MS having motherfuckers there, and we're going to talk a little bit about fucking, I believe. I think is what we talked about. I do not recall. But then, what you need to know is that coming up this Thursday, the 28th, coming up on Thursday, the 28th, you can find me hosting this event. It is going to be an ungala because we are under the clutches of Rona. So we're going to meet virtually. You can find me here on your computer. And there's where I'll be. It's going to be on Zoom. There's info forthcoming. I'm going to get it to you. There's going to be music. It's going to be so good. There's going to be the music of the 2019 Lila Jewell Award winner, Marilyn Keller. There is also going to be a featured entertainment from Kay Ulandi Barrett, who is a poet, performer, and educator navigating life being disabled, Filipinx, American, transgender, and queer, and doing all of that in the United States. And that is a lot of shit to do and to be asked to do by anybody. And I believe that that is all of the introductory stuff before I get into the thing with you. Now here's the thing. This is going to be a little bit longer. It is not going to. I used to say it was 20 minutes. When this all began, began as funsy, a little 20 minutes of comedy, culture, and bullshit, and a way for me to try to tether my sanity to as many of you as were willing to participate in this thing, and so we could precipitate together and keep it as moist as we can. We can't. We have to behave prophylactically. We must protect ourselves from one another in this day and in this age, and that is not fair, but it is real. And we are not the first generation to have to do this. This has happened about every 100 years or so. And this morning, I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about, but then I got a Facebook message, right? And it wasn't a message. It was a comment on a post from somebody who I knew whence I was a child. I met this person when I went to public school for the first time in third grade. As far as I can recollect, we were in school together up through maybe, God, what? I don't know. Maybe, sixth grade, eighth grade, high school. I don't know. Please forgive. We didn't always run in the same circles. And so anyway, I got a Facebook message from this person, and it was about a thing. Right now, first of all, I want to begin with some good news because something really dope was happening, and it's this that we, the United States, is still number one in deaths, averaging about 2,000 a day from the Rona, putting us at about 91,000 as of the date of this broadcast, which I don't know. The 22nd, I did know. There's preparation that happened for this. So listen, here's the good news, that in Cuba, there has been the first week of reportedly 0 deaths. Do you know what I'm saying? And that is amazing. Now, what you have to understand is that for that to have been true, it means that they were doing a lot of separating, right? Social distancing. You can see right here in this photo that there was quite a lot of face mask wearing. It is, and let's say one of the most medically advanced countries in the entire world. That's just what it is. We know this to be true at this point, right? This is kind of like the Wakanda of the United States, the Wakanda of medicine in the world right now. Got a little distracted because a statistic was brought up by my good friend Juliet right there. It's 96,276 deaths currently in the United States. USA. Cuba, as I said, just tamped it down. just tamped it down. And so I shared this to celebrate, and I heard from this friend of mine, friend again, flying fast and loose with the words right now. Flying fast and loose with the words right now. As I said, if you want to hear what sounds funny on purpose, not just because I talk like this, then tune in tonight. But this is what truly happened. This is just true. He wrote on my page on that photo. Again, let's just go ahead and look at this. And okay, now he wrote on this to say to me, to us, to we, that hey, yeah, but I don't know if I would trust the news coming out of Cuba. Now here's the thing. Okay, what? Where do we trust the news coming out of? Is it the United States? Is it the news coming out of the White House? Perhaps. The idea that we should be shooting sunshine into our own assholes for our survival at this point? Should we begin the leeching or taking medicines that are meant for lupus patients? You know, lupus. That thing black people get. That could be helped by the medicine that the president falsely claimed to be taking prophylactically. That one. But okay, you don't want to trust the news coming out of Cuba. Great, I understand. We're going to trust Brett Hume. Great. We're going to trust Fox News. Fine. Want to trust Rachel Maddow? All right. Want to trust MSNBC overall? Sounds great. Whatever. I will say this. There are a lot of political leanings all over all parts of the news here, and very rarely do we actually deign to listen to the science, as does Cuba, right? Or the CDC, for instance. So, you know, this is why it is important that we pay attention outside of the United States. Otherwise, if we do listen to our leaders, we will end up, as my girl says, sniffing Lysol and thinking it's going to cure a viral spread. We could be listening to the CDC, the WHO. Had we done so, we would have saved 37,000 lives if only we had started quarantining and self-isolating a week earlier. A week earlier. Not like a month. A week sooner. Right? And again, the point being that you would have seen fewer deaths, which again is the point, right? That we're after. Those of us who are saying things like, stay the fuck home, as is Cuba, right? So that was the first thing that was said, that I don't know if I would trust the news coming out of Cuba. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I'm tripping. Trust the news from wherever you want. That's all right. The second thing that was said, though, is that, and I think, and me, and I think we need to get back to normal as soon as possible. Now, two things about that. One, there is no normal for which to which we can return. That's how a sentence goes. I make words. There's no normal. We're not going back to a normal. We are where we are. And it's okay to remember how fortunate we were to have existed and to have gotten to live through a time in humanity with very, very few major epidemics, major pandemics outside of the AIDS crisis within our own lifetimes, I think. But there's no normal on the way, pumpkin. And the other thing is this: that idea that we need to return to normal. Normal for me, growing up in Boulder, Colorado, was being chased around by a bunch of white folk and being said things like, "Hey, white." Oh no, what was it? There was a chant you used to say, a fight, a nigger and a white. If the white doesn't win, then we'll all jump in. This is the normal in which this person and I grew up together. So to think about returning to what that normal is, this idea of this childhood safety, growing up in the same city as this person, I had none of it. I did not have safety in my childhood. That's why I'm funny. That's why I have a personality. That's why books. Because I am gorgeous and I didn't need to. Had I grown up around black people, would not have had any need at all to develop as a person because I could have gotten by on this. But no. See, you helped me become this, and what I'm saying is that nostalgia is a toxic impulse, and one that we don't want to repeat. And it also is ahistorical, right? Because it means that we're not going to pay attention to what has happened in the past. How we got here is not of consequence. It's just the comfort that you miss in being able to get a burger from I don't know, Chubby's, or where do you get a burger from? Friend from elementary school? Also, did we hang out? Remind me. Anyway, I also have a theory that while history doesn't exist, history does not exist because we don't learn lessons from it. It's just we are evolving, yes? And we're not growing to be better. We're learning how to repeat our cycles better, and we do repeat cycles. And it's not just us as individuals, it's the planet, right? So for instance, we're not the first people who've ever been in one of these. This has happened before, and it happens again and again. And the political sides of what happens, the people who believe in the science, and the people who believe that the people who believe in the science are witches. This is also not new in Western thought and European thought around how to deal with this, right? I've talked about this before. The folks who right now are still practicing Ramadan, the Muslims of the world, really had a much better idea about cleanliness. Africans had a much better idea about cleanliness. Native peoples, indigenous peoples around the world, and so we helped clean it up with the Enlightenment and brought things like hand washing and soap, and toilets, self-care, and it sort of got claimed, right, as your own, like you just invented it, and then the lessons that may have gotten learned got ignored, and so more plagues, yes. And we've been hearing a lot about the so-called I'm not going to even call it to a country, the last pandemic that happened, the pandemic of the 1800s. This happens. Look at here. I want to show you a thing. Let's just have a look at peekapoo. Okay, this happens. This happens. Okay, here's where we are. If we were to consider this to be right, the equivalent of the last time there was a global pandemic that would have been the equivalent of a flu that could not be defined. Right now, if we look right there, what we see is the second peak that is coming, and that's about to come in June. In June, and it's going to get worse in the fall, in October especially. That is peak number 2 right there from where we are right here. If history continues to cycle out as it seems to. Now, why did this happen? Well, this happened in particular, again, because the politic of the day was not one that was willing to listen to science, right? It was really about making sure that the wealth stayed in the hands of the aristocracy. And to keep the hands of the aristocracy filthy with the bloody wealth meant that people had to keep producing for them and working for them. even though they might get sick, even though it might not be good for them, even though it might be bad for them, even though they knew they might die anyway, because the point is not the health of the worker, because the worker, as they keep saying, is the essential worker. Essential to what? Essential to what? Right? Because is the work essential? Has there ever been a day at your job that whoever you are, whatever your job is, if you were gone tomorrow, would they not try to replace you immediately? I don't care if you died. I don't care if you quit. I don't care if you left in protest. Your work would replace you as fast as possible. Should you be able to go back to that normal, right? You'd be out on the street. You cause too much shit. You start a union, out. But you got to keep your work because your health care is attached to your work. That seems like a bad idea. That seems like a bad idea, but is one that we have embraced, and we almost had a chance to not do it that way. But the voting public, I guess, has spoken, and the Electoral College is speaking, and the Democrats have spoken, and that's not what we're getting. But we had a chance, and there's still a chance that we get something a little bit better, a little bit better. It's not better. It's not better. It's begging for favors still, right? Please don't pollute the water. Please give us the health care. Please let us get rid of these student debts and restructure the way that debt is done in this country. Please get rid of this guy. Please don't fumble the ball. Please don't kill us all. That, again, is not the agenda of the folks who have got us getting ready to follow up this with a whole nother thing. And now, why is that true, and how do we know that that's true? Well, because these dipshits have gone ahead and opened up and created the idea of essential to go even further and to expand even further, as dumbass announced that churches and houses of worship are now essential places of congregation. Now, here's the thing. In the past, during that spike that I've been showing you, there was a point right before that big spike where the churches had a big old protest. And while they were big old protesting, what they said is, we gotta get our folks back out there. And there was a statue, right? I wish I could remember the place that this happened. This is true. There was a statue that was meant to be kissed by the followers, the believers of God. And if you believed in God and you were covered in the blood of Jesus, and then you could win. Fuck what the scientists think. They are heretics. And so what we are going to do is we're going to go to church, and I'd like everybody to line up and deep kiss this statue. And that is going to show our commitment to God, and that's going to demonstrate that our faith is going to pull us through this rather than science. And that's when things went from here to there, as those events and those sorts of protests began to happen, because, of course, church is now open. Yay! Church is open. Hey. But here's the good thing, is that we're all going to be saved, because here come the Democrats. Oh boy! Yay! Here they come. They get that noise. Dumbasses. So they're doing everything they can to lose. Now, there's a couple of announcements about the Dems that just happened. One is this, is that they got a new senior advisor who they had been hiring on. This happened, the announcement was made yesterday. They had been preparing for this announcement for a few days because they were worried about their engagement with, they kept calling it the black vote. And so they had brought on a senior advisor, Stacey De Leon Davis. I'm going to introduce you to her now. Now, I swear to God, this is the photo that she used to announce this job position with Uncle Joe sniffing your hair, Biden. This is the photo. Um, so this is huh, so this is the photo that the senior black advisor to the presumptive Democratic candidate for president released for herself, by herself, and with the campaign. She's the campaign advisor, and Joe Biden is currently being accused and investigated of finger rape, and this looks really. That's the best. That's the best picture they could find, evidently, of Joe and his senior black advisor for the announcement. So that was cool. Yeah. Then, 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 Joe went and he talked at the Breakfast Club. And when he talked at the Breakfast Club, he had a talk with DJ Leonard McClevey, and he and DJ. Now this is problematic already because DJ Leonard McClevey, who calls themselves Charlemagne the God, is already known within the black community to have very, very, very serious issues around problematic behavior and beliefs around black women, trans folk, queer folk, and behaviors on his show, on the Breakfast Bunch, and on Puffy's Breakfast Bunch, and so on Puffy's Breakfast Bunch, he was interviewing. Sean was interviewing Joe Biden, and that's when Joe Biden said to Sean when Sean said, "Hey." Sorry, his name is Leonard. I kept calling him Sean because he works for Sean. See, but what Biden said is that if you don't know if you're going to vote for me or Trump, and I quote, you ain't black. What the presumptive Democratic nominee for president of the United States, who is desperate for the black vote, said to the black reporter, that's generous, about the thing was that if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, is what he said from his mouth hole. So, bad news, I guess, black people. Joe Biden is now holding all of the black cards. Eek! I guess he got the deck. He got the whole deck. This is what you get for inviting him to your party, to your cookout, I guess. Because he's got black friends. Because that's, he's got that black friend. He's and well, that certainly qualifies him to understand the black experience. Just have I mentioned that Joe Biden is the reason that Clarence Thomas is on the Supreme Court right now? He didn't believe Anita Hill. See, Joe's got a little bit of a history to overcome right now. And really, all he has to do is to not trip on his own saggy old balls. That's all he has to do right now to not, to just don't fuck up, sir. Just stop fucking up. And he seems to be incapable of doing such a thing. And I don't, yeah, yeah, that one too. That one too. That's Joe. That's Uncle Joe. That's Uncle Joe. That's Uncle Joe, Anthony Scalia and Clarence Thomas. That's his handiwork. So good job, Democrats, on your run from the White House. You seem to be, as my man Ying Sun said this morning, showing a very strong push for a very strong second this November. If you keep that shit up, you dumb old coot. What are you doing, man? What's go what's going on? Does he not he doesn't have does he not have advisors? I mean, it seems like it'd be good if he had like a good black advisor or somebody to tell him to not say stupid shit like that. Maybe that would help. Uh, yeah. Anyway, so seems like all the nostalgia for Barack has created another toxic impulse in that rather than learning any of the lessons from that presidency, including that Democrats needed to take a hold of the thing for themselves and get in the streets and take action and not depend on politicians to beg for favors to please don't pollute the rivers and please close the Guantanamo and please, how about if Flint has water that you can bathe in and won't burn your skin off? Please? That system is, oh boy. I don't understand the history thing. We're not learning anything. It's like, if we're going to have nostalgia, I'm not saying we shouldn't have any like fond memories. Romantic memories of the past are good. Rewritings of history, good fond memories of the past to learn from heroes, even fictionalized ones. That's not all bad. But all I'm saying is, why? How come we're not going to learn anything from the lessons of Indiana Jones? Right? What I'm saying is, I don't know, Nazi punching time again when we finally when the social distancing is over. Anyway, so that's what's been on my mind today. Listen, I'm gonna make some funnies. I was talking about this before. I'm gonna do that tonight. Kickstand Comedy is helping out to present that. Let's take another hit and we're gonna turn the page so it will feel better. That's what we'll do. When we take this hit and hear this sound, we'll feel all better. Oh yeah, that fixed everything. I'm all better. I hope you're all better too. Hey, if this was a good time for you and you enjoyed it, that's strange. That's not great. That's not a good sign. But also, thanks for being here. I sincerely do appreciate that. This little project was born out of trying to tether myself to some kind of community, and you've become part of that. And so, thank you. I sincerely, sincerely do appreciate that because it does bring me some sanity as well. There are a couple of ways that if this means anything to you at all, you can support it, and some of those are absolutely free, and I'd like to talk about them because what I do here is absolutely free, and it will be absolutely free. I will not bogart. There is no charge for this. That feels fucked up and messy. So one thing you could do is you could start a watch party. That would be great. Let other people know that you watch this insanity, and you could share it on your page. That would be dope too. Some of the people who've done that are Chantrell, our old friend Chantrell, Tracy. I see you there, Tracy. Oh, you're the best. And Jessica, thank you so much. Sharing this out, we call passing the J. If you feel so inclined, and please don't feel obliged. I don't even know what this is. But if you want to, and you are in a position to do so, and you feel like you wanna put five on it, I suppose you can. The people who put five on it last time are Michelle and Jessica, and so deep gratitude to both of you. If you are somebody who wants to do that and you are somehow visually impaired but are still interested in listening to this horrible audio associated with this, then the ways that you could, if you wanted to, put five on it would be Venmo at Carlos Wyndham, Windham, Cash App at $CK Wyndham. You could also do that at PayPal. PayPal me, CK Wyndham. If you want to see other of my shenanigans, go ahead. You could see that at Twitter at Caballo Negrito. You could also see that at IG at El Caballo Negrito. And Layla Perez, I also love this title. This is a title that was drawn up by the one and only Treat You Nice Dom, the sign maker. Again, the image was constructed by our good friend Dana at Mylan and Melanin Podcast. My name is Carlos. This has been Smoke and Mirrors, and as ever, was recorded in front of a live studio audience. Thank you so much for spending some time. Please take care of yourself. Please take care. God damn it. See, that's the kind of shit Joe Biden does. You're right at the fucking finish line. You're about to win. It's looking good, and just fucking biff. God damn it. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Please wash your hands. I love you. Hey, join me tonight, won't you? Okay. Love you. Bye-bye. Bye.